History is full of giants who clashed in epic battles. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian genius who terrified Rome. Scipio Africanus, the Roman general who finally defeated him. But what if I told you the real kingmaker, the man who decided the fate of both these empires, was someone you've probably never heard of? He wasn't Roman. He wasn't even Carthaginian. He was a desert prince who played the long game better than anyone else. A master of timing who built a kingdom that would last for centuries. This is the story of Masinissa, the Numidian king who turned betrayal into an empire. Our story begins in the heart of North Africa, in the land of the Numidians. These weren't city dwellers like the Romans or Carthaginians. They were nomadic tribes, masters of the horse, whose cavalry was the most feared and sought-after mercenary force in the ancient world. The Numidians were divided into two main kingdoms, the Massili in the east, and the Massili in the west. Masinissa was born a prince of the Massilian, and from a young age, his life was tied to Carthage. His father was a staunch ally of the great trading empire, and Masinissa was raised in Carthage itself. He was educated, spoke Punic and Greek, and was promised to the beautiful Sophonisba, the daughter of a powerful Carthaginian general. When the Second Punic War exploded, Masinissa, a brilliant young commander, naturally fought for Carthage. He led his elite Numidian cavalry with devastating effect in Spain, handing the Romans several crushing defeats. For all intents and purposes, he was the perfect Carthaginian ally, poised for a glorious future at the heart of their empire. But the winds of fate are always shifting. While Masinissa was fighting for Carthage in Spain, his father died back home. Seizing the opportunity, the rival king of the Massili Sifox invaded and conquered Masinissa's kingdom. To make matters worse, Carthage, always playing politics, decided to back the new, more powerful king. They sealed the deal by giving Sifox the one thing Masinissa desired most, his fiancée Sophonisba. In a single stroke, Masinissa lost his kingdom, his bride, and his alliance. He was an outcast, a king with no throne, hunted by his rivals, and abandoned by his friends. Lesser men would have broken. They would have faded into obscurity, a mere footnote in history. But Masinissa was not a lesser man. He had something more powerful than an army, an unbreakable will, and an uncanny sense of timing. He saw that Carthage's star was fading, and a new power was rising in the west. Masinissa made a decision that would change the world. He decided to switch sides. But how do you contact your sworn enemy in the middle of a war? This is where the story becomes legendary. Masinissa arranged a secret high-stakes meeting with the Roman commander in Spain, the one and only Scipio Africanus. Imagine the scene, a clandestine rendezvous. Two of history's greatest military minds sizing each other up, the fate of the Mediterranean hanging in the balance. Scipio saw in Masinissa not just a desperate prince, but a sharp, ambitious leader with the one weapon Rome desperately needed, cavalry that could match Hannibal's own Numidians. And Masinissa saw in Scipio a man of his word, a path not just to revenge, but to something far greater. A pact was made, a secret alliance was forged. Masinissa was now Rome's man, but his throne was still 1,500 kilometers away, across a hostile desert. With just a small band of loyal followers, barely 200 men, Masinissa began an epic journey home. It was a desperate gamble, an impossible trek through territory controlled by his enemy, Sifox. He was ambushed, wounded, and forced to play dead to escape. He lived as a fugitive in his own land, rallying support from his tribe, living in mountain caves, and launching guerrilla raids. He was a ghost, a legend whispered among his people, the lost king who refused to stay lost. For 2 years, he fought a shadow war, building his strength, waiting for the right moment. And that moment came when Scipio finally invaded Africa, bringing the war to Carthage's doorstep. Masinissa, with his small but battle-hardened force, immediately joined the Romans. The game was now afoot. Together, they launched a surprise night attack on the combined camps of Sifox and the Carthaginians. The result was a total massacre, a strategic masterpiece that crippled Carthage's land army and sent Cefox fleeing. Masinissa, leading the Roman cavalry, pursued Cefox relentlessly and finally captured him. He rode in triumph into his rival's capital, Cirta. There, he came face to face with Sophonispah, his former fiancée, now Cefox's wife. What happened next is a tragic tale of love and politics. Sophonispah begged Masinissa not to let her be paraded in a Roman triumph. Overcome with old feelings, he married her on the spot, hoping to save her. But Scipio feared her influence. He demanded she be handed over as a Roman prisoner. Caught between his love and his new alliance, Masinissa made a heart-wrenching choice. He sent his queen a cup of poison, telling her it was the only way he could keep his promise that she would never fall into Roman hands. She drank it, without hesitation. It was a brutal lesson in the cost of power, a sacrifice that cemented his loyalty to Rome. With his rival gone, and his kingdom reclaimed, Masinissa was now the undisputed king of all Numidia. But his greatest challenge, and his greatest triumph, was yet to come. The final showdown. Zama. The year is 202 BC, the plains of Zama, not far from Carthage. Two of the greatest armies of the ancient world are arrayed for battle. On one side, Hannibal Barca, with 80 war elephants and an army of veterans, ready for one last desperate defense of his homeland. On the other, Scipio Africanus, with his disciplined Roman legions. The odds were balanced, but Scipio had a secret weapon, Masinissa, and his 6,000 elite Numidian horsemen. The battle began with Hannibal's elephant charge, a terrifying spectacle meant to shatter the Roman lines. But Scipio, perhaps advised by Masinissa, had a plan. The Romans opened lanes in their formation, and the elephants charged harmlessly through. The infantry lines then clashed in a brutal, grinding stalemate. For hours, neither side could gain an advantage. The battle hung on a knife's edge. Then came the decisive moment. Masinissa, who had been busy chasing the Carthaginian cavalry off the field, saw his opportunity. He wheeled his riders around and slammed into the rear of Hannibal's unsuspecting army. The timing was perfect. The impact was devastating. Hannibal's veteran line, caught between the Roman legions in front and Masinissa's cavalry behind, completely collapsed. The battle was over. Carthage was defeated, and it was Masinissa's brilliant cavalry maneuver that sealed the victory. He had been the architect of Rome's greatest triumph. Rome was not ungrateful. They rewarded Masinissa beyond his wildest dreams. They not only confirmed him as king of a united Numidia, but also granted him vast territories stripped from Carthage. His kingdom became immense, stretching across modern-day Algeria, Tunisia, and Libyan area larger than France. But Masinissa was more than just a warrior king. He was a nation builder. He inherited a land of nomads and decided to forge a civilization. For the next 60 years, he ruled with incredible wisdom and foresight. He encouraged his people to settle down and farm, introducing new agricultural techniques. He built cities, established a stable administration, and developed lucrative trade routes for grain, timber, and, of course, his world-famous horses. He transformed Numidia from a collection of scattered tribes into a prosperous, centralized kingdom, the true jewel of North Africa. He created a powerful legacy, and what a life he lived. Masinissa ruled for over half a century, a reign of unprecedented length and stability in the ancient world. He remained physically and mentally sharp well into his old age. The historian Appian tells us that at age 88, he was still leading his army into battle on horseback, and when he passed away at the age of 90, he left behind not just a massive kingdom and immense wealth, but also a large family to carry on his dynasty, reportedly welcoming a new son at the age of 86. He did not just survive the clash of empires, he thrived. He read the political winds, chose the rising power at exactly the right time, and leveraged his position to build a legacy that would outlast both the Carthaginian Republic and even the Roman Republic itself. His dynasty would shape North Africa for centuries to come. His story is the ultimate lesson in perfect timing, unwavering vision, and the art of turning crisis into opportunity. He proves that it's not always the biggest player who wins, but the smartest one who knows when to make their move. Today, the spirit of Masinissa lives on. It's in the sharp, adaptable winners who see the next big wave before anyone else and position themselves to ride it. It's in those who understand that loyalty is a strategy and timing is everything. We call this the Johanna tribe. If you're someone who naturally sees opportunities others miss, if you move decisively when the moment is right, then your tribe is calling. We're building a modern legacy, a community of winners who support each other's rise. Every member pledges 5 to 10% of their earnings back to the tribe, so we can all rise faster, fund bigger moves, and build something legendary together. The future belongs to those who arrive first. If you're ready to ride, send your CV and one sentence about the best timing move UVA ever made to the email in the description. Let's build our empire. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of the greatest winners in history.